Hey, Stan Deaton with the Georgia Historical Society. Welcome back. You probably know the Georgia Historical Society administers the historical marker program for the state of Georgia. We've done it since 1998. Ours are silver and black. They're all over the state. We also maintain for the state of Georgia the old state historical markers that are green and gold. There are thousands of historical markers all over the state telling the story of the people of Georgia. Now, invariably, whenever a picture of one of them appears in the newspaper and some other media, there's a caption that will describe them as a historic marker. Are they historic or are they historical? And what is the difference? Recently, we got into a very spirited discussion at GHS about the difference, and I thought it might be fun to talk with you today about the difference between historical and historic and some other commonly misused words and phrases that we see on the internet and on social media in particular. So, school's in. Let's talk about some grammar today. First up, historic versus historical. What do they mean? Take a look at these two words. They're both adjectives. We know from Schoolhouse Rock that adjectives describe people, places, and things. Historic describes an event that is famous or important in history. It refers to something significant, an event, a historic event, like D-Day, a historic date, like July 4th, 1776. Maybe a historic battlefield, like Gettysburg. A historic home, like Mount Vernon. Any building or location related to history can be historic. Historical with an AL is an adjective that describes anything related to history and refers to information or data from the past. For instance, a historical society, a historical marker, historical records that one finds in a historical society, or historical data. Anything that gives you information about the past is historical, not historic. You may learn about historic events and people from something that is historical, like a historical marker, but it is not a historic marker, it's a historical marker, and it's put up by a historical society. Now, I also happen to follow a lot of sports sites on social media, and increasingly I see people complaining about the fact that their team has been losing a game. Pretty sure that they mean losing. Let's take a look at the difference between loose and lose. First up is lose. Lose, of course, is a verb, an action word that rhymes with choose and shoes, and it means to be deprived of something, as in this sentence. You can lose your socks in the laundry. In relation to sports, it means to suffer defeat or failure to win, as in, boy, the Braves sure can find a way to lose the game. What the Braves can't do is loose the game, because loose is an adjective that describes. Loose rhymes with goose and moose, and in this case it means not rigidly fastened, like loose boards, or something that has freedom of movement, like a loose tooth, or something not tight-fitting, like loose clothes. The Braves players might wear loose jerseys, and they might be loose in the games, but they don't loose games, they lose games. Not as frequently as they once did, but they still do. Now, by the way, there's also a difference between looser and loser, and I'll let you figure out what it is. Next up, it's versus its. Common misuse of these two words. IT' is a contraction of the words it is or it has, as in, it's going to rain today. That means it is going to rain. It's been raining means it has been raining. It's going to be a sunny day means it is going to be a sunny day. I lost my phone, but I think it's at home. ITS without the apostrophe is possessive, meaning ownership or belonging, as in the hotel raised its rates. It's not the hotel raised it is rates, which it would be if you used an IT'S there. How about this? This old house has its charms. You're talking about the charms of the old house. The book I'm reading has its ups and downs. It's ITS. It's versus its. Next up, the homophone, and that is a word that sounds the same but has a different meaning. The trifecta, there, and there. Boy, do these bedevil some people. There, we'll figure it out together. First up, THEIR, there. There is the possessive case of the pronoun they, meaning belonging to them, as in these examples. They left their cell phones at home. That is their house. Now, as you can see in these two sentences, there is generally plural, but it is increasingly accepted in place of the singular his or her after words such as someone. And you've done this before when you say, someone left their book on the table. Now there, T-H-E-R-E, is an adverb that means in or at that place. In this sense, there is essentially opposite of here. It denotes place. It's what's known as an adverb of place. And it answers the question, where is the action taking place? Check out these examples. She is there now. T-H-E-R-E. That's where she is. She is there now. I'm going there next summer. Now, there can also be used as a pronoun introducing the subject of a sentence or a clause, as in, there is still hope that you will be able to vote this fall. There's no way. T-H-E-R-E is the word you're looking for. How about T-H-E-Y apostrophe R-E? This, as we've seen with its, is a contraction of the words. This time, they and are. As in, they're coming down next fall. T-H-E-Y apostrophe R-E, they are coming down next fall. They're going to lose this game. They are going to lose this game. They're mastering the differences between three homophones, and hopefully, so are you. There, and there. Now, let's move on to then versus than. Boy, do we see these two misused on social media all the time. There's an easy way to keep this pair straight. Focus on this basic difference. Than, T-H-A-N, is used when you're talking about comparisons. It's the word to choose in phrases like smaller than, smoother than, further than. I'd rather go here than go there. It's not then there, it's than there. Then, T-H-E-N, is used for time or consequence, as in, I lived in California then, meaning at that time. Or, if I lived in Colorado, then I would be near the mountains all the time. That's a consequence, right? A consequence of living in Colorado is being near the mountains all the time. So that's than versus then. How about your versus your? This is sure a problem for a lot of people as well. Your, Y-O-U apostrophe R-E, is a contraction of the phrase you are. It's like there, right? Which was they are. Your, you are. Easy enough to remember. Here's how it looks in a few sentences. Hey, you're my best friend. You are my best friend. You're crazy. Any of these sentences would read the exact same if you replaced your, Y-O-U apostrophe R-E, with you are. You are my best friend. You're crazy. Now, when you use your, Y-O-U-R, your is a possessive adjective used to show ownership. It is not a contraction. You can say, it's usually followed by a noun. You can say, hey, Stan, your hair looks great today. Why, thank you. You could say, I saw your crazy cousin. Now, that's not you are. It's your crazy cousin. It's possessive, right? Has all your running around made you tired? Your. If you added you are in the place of your in this sentence, or your hair looks great today, you would not say your hair looks great today. It wouldn't make sense. So your versus your. One is you are, one is your. Now we come to the comma, and commas can sure be misused. I'm not sure anyone knows how to use them 100% correctly all the time, but they can either be overused or underused, but when they're left out completely, they can have hilarious unintended consequences, particularly when you're talking about what I like to call the cannibalistic comma. You've seen this before. Take a look at this sentence. These two sentences together. Take a look. Let's eat grandma. The first one is let's eat, comma, grandma. This tells grandma that it's time to eat. Wonderful. Take a look at the second. Bad. Let's eat, grandma. Ooh, this is not good. This tells everyone that grandma is in fact on the menu, that you are going to consume grandma as part of your meal. The comma here is critical. The comma tells the reader that grandma isn't the object of the verb eat in the first sentence. That is, with the comma, grandma is not on the menu. The function of the comma here is to show that the sentence let's eat is directed to an audience. In this case, grandma. Hey, let's eat, grandma. You're inviting her to sit down and enjoy the meal. In the other one, she is the meal. Unfortunate. Take a look at this sentence. I love cooking, comma, my dogs, comma, and my friends. Versus, I love cooking my dogs and my friends. Similar to let's eat grandma, the commas here keep the nouns dogs and friends from becoming unintentional objects of the verb cooking. Again, without the comma, this entire sentence becomes cannibalistic. Commas help the reader by inserting breathing space into the sentence, making it easier to read, like this one. I love cooking my dogs, and my friends. If you use a comma wrongly, it not only can be irritating, sometimes it can be disastrous for Grandma if she disappears. Now, the next time we talk about grammar, there are lots of other things to discuss, including the common misuse of words that sound almost exactly alike, but that aren't the same. Other homophones, like compliment versus compliment, stationary versus stationary, premier versus premier, and one that we've all seen a lot over the past several months, breath versus breathe. Breathe has an E on the end of it. A lot of people recently, in solidarity with social justice movements, have been typing, I can't breath. They left the E off. I am quite sure that is not what they meant to do in showing their solidarity. They wanted to say, I can't breathe, but instead they said, I can't breath. It matters, folks. Don't make that mistake. Next time, we'll also talk about some of those funny Southern phrases we've all heard, like when a Southerner gets on an elevator, he doesn't push 3, he says, hey, mash 3 for me, will ya? Southerners ask to be carried to the grocery store, as if someone is going to literally pick them up and tote them down to the grocery store. We'll also talk about the granddaddy of all hard-to-understand words, affect versus effect. So tune in. Stay safe, stay strong, don't eat Grandma. I'm Stan Deaton with the Georgia Historical Society. As always, thank you for watching.